Football is back, and the Gators are back in the swamp. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another season of the Coach Todd McDaniel Show. 2021, the second season for head coach Todd McDaniel. And coach, I know a lot of people say Christmas is the best time of the year, but for me, it's got to be football season. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, so coach, football season is back. So just as a coach and a lover of the game, how does it feel to be back out there on the sidelines?
Well, it's bringing a little normality to the situation, opposed to last year. And we've been working extremely hard since the end of November to get to this point, So we're ready to see what we can do. We built our bodies up physically, and now we're just trying to get a little stronger mentally. So we just want to see what we can do from this point forward.
Yeah, and you talk about the offseason, and you look at the players on the field, and you can see it. They look bigger, they look stronger. Talk about what you guys went through during the offseason to prepare for this point.
Oh, it was a grind. We started from the ground level all the way up. From just our strength and conditioning program. Last year, we wasn't physically ready to compete in a full-quarter football game to play a whole entire 48 minutes. This year now, we were physically, we had the opportunity to get 6 or 7 months in the weight room. They've had the opportunity to get the chance to know me. I walked in June 15th last year. We probably had about 6 weeks together. And just to be honest with you, going to the third or fourth game, I didn't even know all my kids' names. So, let alone what they can do on the field, So, and to get a chance to understand their personalities and how they think, and they understand how I'm thinking and how I want the program to move forward, So I just can't wait. It's a brand new year. When you start a year you only have 6 weeks to prepare, and you playing people that's been at their programs 20, 30 years or whatever the case may be. They've been there longer than you have,
right.
And that's an advantage. We're not gonna cry about it, but just happy to get a chance to get my feet wet with the kids or get a spring on our belt.
Yeah, you talk about all the things you went through last year, and I know you're not the type of guy to make excuses on the football field.
Right.
But if you look at it, you had COVID, you got in a little bit more than a month before the season started. You were unable to play a home game the whole season. So talk about how that impacts your players and your coaches, just the ability to know the system and know your coaches and all of that coming into this season.
Oh, well, that definitely impacts everything that you do. You got to kind of tone everything down, because at that time your coaches don't even know your system, let alone the kids. So you're trying to teach your coaches your system or your verbiage, your kids on understanding how you want to practice. I mean, all that goes into it. It's not like John Madden. You just can't pick up the stick and play,
Right.
Well, there's a lot of things that go into preparing for a football season. And I'm just happy. I'm elated to have the opportunity to be with my kids from the Monday after we played Grenada in the playoff game all the way up until this point. I truly believe that we're going to see a very different Vicksburg Gator team. Last year we stepped in a lot of games. We were a group of guys. We was not a family. We were more family oriented now. We care about each other a little bit more now. And when you care about a person, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's shooting marbles or shooting basketball. You want to see that person be successful. And that's the X factor that people really don't understand when you're coaching sports, is that you got to have that love. We do this all the time to each other. It means I love you. I love you too, So, as men, we got to understand, that, I got to show you I care for you, and then you run through the wall for me, and I'll do the same for you.
And you implemented a new system, the wing tee. I know a lot of people, to the naked eye, it looks simple. But you and I both know it's a complicated system to get in. It's a lot of different motions and different eye candy going on. So talk about how the kids have come to terms with the wing tee and how it's looking for you right now.
Well, they understand that their system is a winning system. A lot of people try to throw a lot of different variations out and try to run it from the spread and things of that nature. Some people are successful and some are not. But this is one system that it's a system of moving the ball systematically down the field. Even if you don't have a whole bunch of talent, you're able to I told my kids we want 3.8 yards a carry. Regardless of what's going on, we get 3.8 yards a carry. It doesn't matter who we play. We're going to get first down to first down, so we're going to be able to move the ball down the field on anybody. And this year, watching us throughout the fall, we're 10 times better than we were last year. I look at the film from last summer or last fall, the first week of practice, and we put on our pads, and we look at the film now. It's a totally different group of guys out there. Even though we're young, but we have a much better idea of what we're trying to accomplish on the field than we did last year by, almost, especially at the beginning of the year. You can see our team progressing throughout the course of the year. We lost a lot of games, 2 or 3 games in a matter of the last few minutes of the game, but still in all, though, we were looking to pull those same games out this year.
How encouraging was it to see, like you said, you lost a lot of games in the last couple of minutes, but your kids didn't even know the offensive system yet. So how encouraging was it to say, yeah, we're losing this game this year, but next year and in the future, we're not going to lose in the same situation?
Well, that means a lot to see the young men go out there and they continue to play hard and not fully grasping everything we do, because to be honest with you, our system is a lot more complex than college level systems, and correct head placement, hand placement, things of that nature. So to see these guys out here attacking at the hip, getting their head across, using their hands, 6-inch power step at a 45-degree angle, just seeing these guys to grow as young men, to grow as football players, that means a lot, So we just practiced yesterday. I was extremely excited about the practice we had all week. We hadn't had a week like that at all last year, and where I can kind of go home. I make it home about 8:30 every night, where I can kind of go home and, hey, sleep peacefully. You know what I mean? I asked Coach Ben, I said, Coach, are we doing everything is possible for us to be successful? And Coach said, hey, we just got to keep working, I always talk to my coaches and make sure I get their input, So he's a trusted guy, So I just believe it's going to be a different year. I can't give you a number, right, or anything like that, but the goal is to have a winning season, win or compete for the district and go deep into the playoffs. That's the goal.
And speaking of district, you do have some different opponents on the schedule this year. You still have to visit Neshoba, Ridgeland, those teams, but you do have a couple different opponents in the district. So how do you feel going into it, having some opponents that you haven't seen with this team yet?
Well, it's a little different this year. I've never seen a 9-team district. That's totally different. But by them adding Forest Hill and Jim Hill, geographically, I hadn't had opportunity to coach against those guys, but it's just going to be another grind, and that's the next thing, is that you get the opportunity throughout your first year to see how the tendencies of other coaches, actually how they want to play and how they want to do certain things, and just being familiar with them as a coach, that's big, and also your kids getting familiar with you and the things that you want to accomplish and the concepts that you want to run. It's going to be a good year, I believe.
All right, so let's talk about the specifics, the offense. The youth movement is on. You got a lot of sophomores and juniors on the field now. So let's start with Ronnie Alexander, the quarterback. You threw him into the fire last year.
Right.
But he grew up as the season went on. So talk about his leadership and what you expect from him this season.
Right, and it's funny that you bring up Ronnie. Ronnie was on fire yesterday. He probably threw 10 balls and completed all 10, and I have never had a quarterback to do that. Right. If Ronnie was 6'3", Nick Saban would be in this room right now with us. So we're going to do some things with him to be able to capitalize on his athletic ability. He's not a very tall guy, so we're going to do some things to be able to capitalize on that. And he's a natural leader. He never complains. He does everything he asks me to do. He always he wants to find out, Coach, what's next? Where do we need to go? And you really like that as a coach, because the player's trying to challenge you. And hey, look, let's do this then. I'm glad so we can be on the same level, same page. So I'm extremely happy about Ronnie. Ronnie is a great kid, great parents. He has to have great parents. I've talked to his mom a few times, but the way his demeanor, you can just tell, the young man was raised right.
All right. And some of the other players that you look at on that offense, you have a couple of wing backs. Alex Jefferson, he is back from his injury. You have Montgomery in the backfield. So talk about what you expect from the guys Ronnie is going to be handing the ball off to.
Right. I'll say Alex Jefferson, I'm extremely excited about the season for him. Alex has totally regained everything that he's lost. And he's making some runs and breaking some runs. The last week in the Jamboree, and he's the type of guy, hey, Coach, give me the football, and do you want it? I'm going to give it to you, So he's the type of guy that makes play calling easy. Malik Montgomery, big physical kid, about 210 pounds. He's a 10th grader also. Runs extremely hard. He has done a great job over the past week of blocking some things that we needed to implement throughout the course of this week to get prepared for Germantown. Also, Colin, he's back. Very speedy guy, not very big, but he can break some long runs for you. And so on our receivers, Kadarius Sims and Tata, those guys, but they're young. So I would just love to be able to see those guys into junior and senior year.
Right.
It can be really special.
Right. So the offense is getting better. We look at the Jamboree, and the story has really been the defense. They've been pitching shutouts left and right. Of course, we know what Coach Chris Lacey has those guys doing on the defensive side of the ball. You're a defensive guy. So that defensive line, when I watch them, they can dominate a game. So talk about that defense and what we expect to see from them.
And this is the craziest thing. It's not one senior on their defensive line.
Absolutely.
They're extremely young, but that weight room has helped them out tremendously. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. I watched the Jamboree last week, and I think out of 2 quarters, we only gave up 4 first downs. So I don't care who you play. If you only give up 4 first downs in the entire half, you've done a tremendous job. Coach Lacey is doing a great job with those young men. They're going out there, they're being aggressive, they're striking people. Now we have a tall task tonight, but I guarantee you this is that we're up for the challenge. I was just thinking about, I was on the side of the defense and I was just looking, and it reminded me of 05 Hazelhurst defense where they only gave up 2 rushing touchdowns in an entire year. They're not there yet because those guys was together much longer. But I can see the body type now. We don't have 6'5" and 6'6" guys, but we have guys with motors. And they really look good. I think some people are going to be surprised when they see these young men step on the field.
So we talk about guys on the defense. Of course, we talk about DeMarcus Johnson and Caleb Bryant. Who else should we look forward to on Friday nights?
Demarion Robinson, linebacker. Waleed Carey, linebacker. Those young men are extremely fast, and they think the game. They really think the game. Waleed he's going to be the quarterback for the defense. He's going to be the general. He's going to put everybody in place. And Demarion Robinson, he's sideline to sideline type of guy, extremely fast, extremely strong. I'm going to be disappointed if we don't go out and play well.
Yeah. So talk about how the team has changed emotionally. You guys came out and you had a great performance in the spring. You had a great performance in the Jamboree. Has the lights started to come on? When
they're flickering. They're flickering. They're flickering. When we talked about the light bulbs last year, they're flickering. They're almost, but it's going to be really special when you see all those light bulbs come across all 11.
Right.
And it's going to be fun to watch. So, and this is the next thing is that our offense will come out. And it's going to give the defense the opportunity when they go out there and get that 3 and out. Our offense is going to be able to go out there and get some first downs, be able to move the ball, hopefully get some scores, and our defense can be much better than advertised.
Right. So, Germantown, the Mavericks come to town, Red Carpet Bowl, and of course everybody talks about the running back, Branson Robinson, one of the top running backs in the nation. So, what can we expect defensively to try to slow him down?
Well, we were going to do everything possible to be able to get in his face, be able to change directions. He's a north and south guy, and just watching film, he will bounce it, and we want him to continue to bounce it, because we're pretty athletic on defense. I don't believe that. Hopefully, he won't be able to string us all the way out. You know what I mean? But being able to jam and squeeze and spill. For the linebackers to scrape and get over top, for the safeties to get down into the alleys, and we have to game tackle. Everybody has to run to the football.
Yeah. And so Germantown has a new head coach. Are we expecting anything different offensively from them, or is it pretty much going to be the same as what we saw in film last year?
Well, their head coach is a wing T-oriented guy. I had the opportunity to coach against him when he was at Brandon and I was at Wingfield. We both ran very similar offenses. But by him getting a job in the middle of the summer, I don't foresee them totally changing everything that they've done. But they're still wing T-oriented anyway. They run buck, they run trap, they run jet. So there's going to be some things that the kids have already been seeing for the past year and a half or whatever the case may be. So I'm just elated. I can't wait to get on the field Friday.
Yeah, and defensively for Germantown, they have 6'8", 335 defensive tackle Xavier Harris. He's the load. I saw him play last year, so what do you expect to do to try to neutralize him?
So we're going to have to double him, cut him, and read him. He's a big guy. We don't have anybody up front besides one guy to maybe be able to match up with him across the front. Our center's about 225 pounds and he plays nose, so he's going to outweigh our center by 100 pounds. So we're going to have to do whatever it is. We got to get him in the hip. We got to stay low. We got to cut him. We're going to have to do some things that he's not accustomed to happening to him. So that's going to be a tall task.
Yeah.
Very tall. But if we just continue to believe, and at the end of the game, we'll be there. We have opportunity to win it if we're not winning.
Coach, football season is back. You're back on the sidelines. How do you feel?
Great. Time to go.
All right. Well, Gators ready to take on the Germantown Mavericks. We'll be bringing you the action soon. Thanks to head coach Todd McDaniel. Be sure to stick around and listen to the Gators right here.
Go Gators.